and welcome to November 2025 edition of Macro and Market Wrap-Up. (2025) has seen broad-based gains across asset classes, with both developed market and emerging market equities, emerging market debt, and metals delivering strong returns. Brent, US dollar, and global food lagged. Indian equities made some comeback in October 2025, aided by improved FII flows, with Nifty and Sensex up 4.5% month-on-month. However, global equities and fixed income have outperformed India year-to-date. In India, sector-wise, real estate, metals and financials led, while auto and consumption lagged during the month due to GST transition. Sentiment improved on potential US-India deal, festive demand, and rate cut hopes once again turning alive. October 2025 marked a record IPO month in India. The sentiments in primary market appear to be much more robust than secondary equity market in India. Seven months since Liberation Day, that is April 2nd, Harvard Research finds that US importers and consumers have absorbed most of the tariff costs, thereby dampening US growth. Tariffs have added nearly 0.7 percentage point to US CPI. Without them, inflation in the US might be closer to 2.3% instead of 3%. Yale Budget Lab estimates effective tariffs at 18%, while actual collections suggest 10 to 11% of effective tariff. Though tariffs may be stabilizing in near term, US CPI could rise into 2026 as well, as impacts are more lingering. Ahead of midterms, Trump may ease tensions to curb inflation, but disputes could resurface post-elections. Investment impact remains unclear. Non-AI gross fixed capital formation is stagnating, as per geopolitical experts. Future investment pledges by different nations into the US appear vague. Geopolitically, US retreated in talks with Mexico and Canada. China-US relations improved at the margin but remains unresolved. US-EU ties have weakened, with Europe diversifying alliances. Even traditional allies like Japan, Korea and Australia show signs of hedging. Trade policies seem to have eroded US network influence and accelerated global fragmentation. In summary, tariffs are temporarily stabilizing at lower than feared levels, with costs borne domestically in the US. Other policies such as industry protection, kickbacks, immigration are all undermining US exceptionalism. Yet, structural corporate strength persists. Investors may continue hedging USD exposure. Unless global trade and manufacturing imbalances are addressed, such volatility may persist. To shrink its trade deficit, the US may need slower growth and a weaker dollar, especially against China. Since the April peak, policy uncertainty and recession risks in the US has eased. Corporate balance sheets remain strong, supported by the AI boom and accommodative fiscal policy. However, the enthusiasm around US exceptionalism is fading. A softening labor market prompted the Federal Reserve to deliver 2 consecutive 25 basis point rate cuts, bringing the Fed funds rate to 3.75 to 4%. The Fed will also end quantitative tightening from December 1, 2025. Market currently expects 100 basis point of rate cut over the 1 year in US. Given the economic crosswinds, however, the quantum of rate cut could be fewer than expected. Powell's cautious tone and limited data due to government shutdown suggest that Fed may as well pause in December. USD 10-year yields below 4% appear unsustainable, as lower yields incentivize long-duration borrowing, potentially pushing rates higher. The US government entered its first shutdown in 7 years in October 1, 2025, triggered by budget impasse. Dispute over healthcare policy stalled progress, leaving 1.4 million federal employees on unpaid leaves. The shutdown, expected to resolve by mid-November, could shave 0.1 to 0.2 percentage point of GDP growth per week. Historically, shutdowns have limited long-term impact on markets, but prolonged uncertainty may weigh on sentiment. When we think about the US growth, tariffs and restrictive immigration policies pose headwinds to growth. In contrast, AI-driven investment and rising household wealth are supportive. For rest of the world, after the front-loading, reduced US imports may soften growth momentum in China and other economies in second half of 2025. In most economies, policy remains broadly growth supportive, but global trade dynamics will be key in shaping the growth trajectory. While inflations remain a concern in the US, much of the Asia is still in a disinflationary phase, partly driven by China's rising exports to the non-US markets. China has started anti-involution campaigns to curb excess capacity in many industries. Main objective is to get China out of deflation. However, China's measures aren't as aggressive yet and demand is weak. Hence, the path to reflation could be slow. We continue to expect modest USD weakening into late 2025 and early 2026. While the dollar has been stable over last 3 months, it's premature to conclude that its decline is over, especially with further Fed easing likely. Historical patterns show that during past Fed rate cutting cycles without a recession, the US dollar has broadly weakened. These episodes offer useful context for assessing the current outlook. Structural pressures of a gradual de-dollarization and deteriorating US fiscal dynamics, combined with Fed independence concerns, continue to weigh on the currency. Still, identifying conditions for a bullish USD stance is worthwhile. A return to USD exceptionalism, driven by re-accelerating US growth, strong foreign demand for US assets, and reduced political uncertainty could shift sentiment. But for now, the probability for a sustained recovery in dollar is bleak. In that context, Indian rupee would continue to depict its annual depreciation of 3 to 4%. China's trade diplomacy in 2025 has helped them sustain their equity market confidence and real economy momentum, despite US tariff threats. The October US-China trade deal marked some progress. Trump agreed to cut fentanyl-related tariffs by half in exchange for China's cooperation on rare earth exports and a soybean purchase commitment. China's effective tariff rate reduced from 40% to 30% now. Meanwhile, India continued to remain disadvantaged. A global trade research initiative study shows that India's exports to the US fell 37.5% between May and September 2025, with key sectors like smartphones, pharma, garments, and gems hit hard. Securing a US trade deal is now critical for India's export outlook. It's been more than a month since GST rate reduction. Anecdotal evidence suggests the most visible price drops occurred in vehicles and white goods, while prices for consumer non-durables remain sticky. A clearer picture is expected in CPI data from November. Festive sales received a boost, particularly in autos and electronics. Most consumer companies report improved retail sales this festive season versus the last year festive season. However, when adjusted for pent-up demand and pre-GST slowdown, growth appears more moderate. For instance, passenger car and two-wheeler sales rose 15 to 17% during the festive period, but only 5 to 5.5% when measured from end August. Broader consumption trends remain mixed. Looking ahead, GDP growth is expected to moderate to near 6% year-on-year in second half FY26, down from 7.6% in first half, with full-year growth projected at 6.8%. While GST cuts have supported demand, their full impact will depend on broader economic drivers and external factors. As of October 31st, 27 Nifty companies representing nearly 70% of the index market cap have reported Q2 FY26 results. For the broader market, nearly half the results are out. The results suggest that private banks have outperformed expectations, supported by strong NIMs and credit growth. PSU banks showed improvement, while auto OEMs benefited from festive demand. Auto ancillaries were mixed, impacted by weak exports. Consumer staples saw stable demand, but GST transition and extended monsoon weighed on performance. Oil marketing companies posted strong results on refining and marketing margins. IT services offered mild relief, though management commentary remained cautious with no signs of new spending cycle. Overall, earnings were broadly in line with marginal upgrades to Nifty EPS estimates. Notwithstanding muted Indian equity performance over the past year, pockets of value are emerging. Q2 FY26 was weighed down by tariff impacts and spending delays ahead of GST rollouts, but benefits should materialize in Q3. A resolution to the tariff stalemate could be a key external catalyst. Valuations are reasonable, sentiment is neutral, and our equity outlook stance remains neutral with a preference for large cap and domestic oriented companies. Given the recent surge and subsequent pullback in gold prices, it's no surprise that the metal has become a focal point for investors. As a non-yielding asset, its appeal lies in hedging against inflation, currency depreciation, and low interest rates. We studied and found that over a 5 to 10 year horizon, gold has historically been a more effective hedge against low interest rates than inflation. The currency debasement argument appears weak, especially with US Treasury yields steady around 4%. If dollar concerns were genuine, bond markets would reflect it more sharply. Recent price movements are better explained by shifting monetary policy and momentum trade. Since Russia's reserve freeze in 2022, central banks have consistently bought gold, supporting prices. Western private investors remain cautious with muted ETF flows, while Chinese and Japanese investors have been active buyers amid low rates and currency depreciation. Gold trades near all-time highs. An inelastic supply combined with central bank demand may sustain strength. Though in the near term, gold's trajectory depends on Western rate cuts, Japan's policy stance, and China's currency move. A Fed pivot could revive ETF demand, while a stronger yen or renminbi may dampen Asian buying. Structurally, gold remains resilient. In India, rising gold prices have boosted household net worth but haven't triggered broad consumption. Real income growth remains subdued post-COVID. Gold's wealth effect is largely psychological and untapped. Household gold stock now equals 88% of GDP, up from 53% in 2023. Yet, precise valuation remains elusive for most households. Notably, gold-backed loans have risen to 4.9% of personal loans from 2%, indicating increased monetization and some modest support to consumption. While gold remains a strategic asset, expectations of it driving a consumption boom are overstated. Its role is more nuanced, anchored in cultural value, financial security, and macroeconomic shifts. The forward outlook for growth and inflation, along with evolving risks, create rooms for continued monetary support. The December policy review is expected to be live for a rate cut in the current cycle. While debate persists on efficacy of further easing, current macro conditions justify maintaining accommodative monetary and liquidity settings. There is no case yet for a policy reversal. Market yields have broadly stabilized and are expected to remain range-bound without strong downward momentum. RBI's guidance and duration supply rebalancing should support near-term sentiment, allowing for a higher tactical duration positioning. Recent regulatory changes such as easing the large exposure framework, raising ECB limits, and permitting banks in acquisition finance have added tailwinds for corporate bonds. A lighter supply calendar further supports spread tightening. On a risk-reward basis, high-grade bonds and select short-duration credits remain attractive. With external volatility likely to reset market expectations, duration strategies will need to stay nimble. Signing off for this month. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.